Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding may be over, but the fashion debate is far from it. While many guests absolutely nailed the black tie dress code, not every outfit was a winner. Some looks felt too casual, some were simply overstyled, and a few just didn't fit the glamorous atmosphere of the celebration. So today, I'm counting down my top 10 worst-dressed guests at Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding. These are simply my personal opinions based on the outfits, styling, and overall fashion choices. You might agree with some picks, and you might completely disagree with others, and that's what makes fashion so much fun. Kaya Harris. Kaya Harris was another guest who embraced a soft, romantic color palette, but personally, this look just didn't work for me the way I hoped it would. She attended the celebration alongside her husband, Kansas City Chiefs defensive end George Kravitz, wearing a lavender off-the-shoulder floral gown decorated with delicate petal details around the neckline. The dress was covered in a busy, multi-tonal purple botanical print that certainly stood out, but for me, it felt a little too overwhelming from top to bottom. She completed the look with silver strappy sandals, keeping the accessories simple and letting the dress remain the main focus. For beauty, Kaya chose a polished sleek updo with soft curled tendrils framing her face, while her makeup stayed clean, fresh, and classic, adding an elegant finish to the overall styling. I did, however, love the coordinated couple moment. George Kravitz matched her beautifully by wearing a pale lilac bow tie that perfectly echoed the color of her gown. Although the styling and beauty look were lovely, I personally felt the heavily patterned floral fabric made the outfit look busier than it needed to be, which is why it lands on my worst-dressed list. Kristin Juszczyk. Kristin Juszczyk certainly embraced the evening's glamorous dress code, but for me, this was one of those looks that had great ideas without fully coming together. She arrived wearing a custom-designed navy and black corset-style gown featuring a structured silhouette in a rich shade of blue. Corset dresses were a major trend among several of the bride's closest friends that evening, and Kristin's design clearly leaned into that same elegant aesthetic. To keep the outfit refined, she accessorized with a timeless pearl necklace, adding a classic touch to the modern silhouette. Fashion fans also pointed out that the overall look gave off strong Midnight's-era vibes, with the deep blue tones and glamorous styling reminding many of one of Taylor's most iconic album aesthetics. Interestingly, Kristin's fashion moment wasn't the only reason she caught attention that night. Using her impressive tailoring skills, she even stepped in to help another guest avoid a wardrobe malfunction, earning plenty of praise behind the scenes. Personally, while I appreciated the inspiration and the elegant styling, the overall look just didn't have the same wow factor as many of the other guests, which is why it finds a place on my worst-dressed list. Seaborn. Seaborn definitely wasn't afraid to embrace bold color, but I have to admit, this outfit just didn't land for me. While I appreciate trying something fun and different, I personally felt there was a little too much happening all at once. She chose a vibrant etro maxi dress in a striking tangerine orange, almost sunshine yellow shade. The floor-length design featured a dramatic high-low pleated skirt, a subtle floral print throughout, and a large opal-shaped cutout across the open back. Individually, those details were interesting, but together they made the dress feel a bit too busy for my taste. She paired the colorful gown with glittery silver platform heels, adding even more shine to an already eye-catching look. Her accessories followed the same glamorous theme, including a matching silver evening bag, statement silver chandelier earrings, and a delicate tennis necklace that completed the ensemble. The couple certainly turned heads together. Cherry's vibrant dress perfectly complemented Ed Sheeran's equally colorful turquoise blue paisley suit and black Nike X Tiffany & Co. sneakers. Their playful, unconventional outfits quickly went viral online, with many fans affectionately comparing the duo to the iconic colorful suits from Dumb and Dumber. Although I admire the confidence and the willingness to have fun with fashion, the combination of the bold color, dramatic silhouette, and multiple statement details just felt a little overwhelming to me, which is why this look earns a spot on my worst-dressed list. Fergie. I know this might be an unpopular opinion because so many people loved this look, but personally, it just wasn't one of my favorites. The vintage inspiration was undeniable, yet I felt it leaned a little too much into costume territory rather than wedding glamour. Fergie arrived wearing an archival Christian Dior by John Galliano gown that immediately brought 1970s disco and old Hollywood fashion to mind. The vintage design was crafted from shimmering metallic gold fabric, completely covered in sequins, making sure she stood out the moment she walked into the celebration. The sleek column silhouette was paired with a dramatic plunging neckline, while the back featured an elegant open cowl drape that added even more glamour to the archival design. She layered a bold black wrap over her shoulders, creating a striking contrast against the sparkling gold gown. To complete the vintage-inspired aesthetic, Fergie accessorized with oversized sculptural sunglasses that gave strong Studio 54 vibes, along with chunky chandelier earrings that added even more drama to the look. Overall, the entire outfit perfectly captured a glamorous 1970s disco aesthetic blended with classic high fashion. Personally, though, I felt it was a little too theatrical for the occasion, which is why it lands on my worst dressed list. Elisabeth Eberstein. Elisabeth Eberstein's look ended up being one of the most divisive fashion choices of the entire celebration. While some people appreciated that she went in a completely different direction, I personally felt it was a little too understated for such a glamorous black tie event. She arrived alongside her husband, Hugh Grant, wearing a black halter-neck midi dress decorated with bold geometric lines in dark orange, red, and pink running down the center of the dress and around the neckline. The relaxed, straight-cut silhouette gave the outfit an effortless summer feel, but for me, it looked more suited to a daytime occasion than an elegant evening wedding. Keeping things simple, Anna pulled her hair back into a sleek low bun, while her makeup remained fresh and natural, perfectly matching the laid-back styling of the outfit. Instead of adding statement jewelry, she intentionally skipped a necklace so the geometric halter neckline could remain the focal point. Not surprisingly, the outfit divided fashion critics. Some outlets praised her for choosing a distinctive style that stood apart from the crowd, while others felt the relaxed silhouette, graphic print, and minimal accessories were simply too casual for what many called the wedding of the century. Rebecca Arthur. Rebecca Arthur certainly wasn't afraid to sparkle, but for me, this look crossed the line between glamorous and a little too overwhelming. Sometimes less really is more, and I personally felt this gown could have benefited from a bit more balance. She attended the celebration alongside her husband, Philip Sweet of the country group Little Big Town, wearing a floor-length silver gown completely covered in shimmering sequins from top to bottom. There was no denying the visual impact. The reflective fabric caught the light from every angle, making the dress almost impossible to miss. While some fashion fans loved the dramatic effect, others felt the head-to-toe sparkle pushed the look into costume territory rather than elegant black tie dressing. Personally, I appreciate a little sparkle for a celebration like this, but I think this gown simply had too much of it. Instead of looking effortlessly glamorous, it felt slightly overpowering, which is why it earns a place on my worst dressed list. Zoe Kravitz. I know a lot of fashion lovers absolutely adored this look because of its incredible fashion history, but personally, it just wasn't one of my favorites for a wedding. Zoe arrived wearing an extraordinary vintage Balenciaga haute couture dress from the Spring-Summer 1965 collection. The rare archival piece was sourced and beautifully restored by Parisian vintage fashion specialist Marie Blanchet of Mon Vintage, and had originally been curated for the Rose flagship boutiques. The long-sleeved, figure-hugging shift dress featured a knee-length silhouette crafted from delicate semi-sheer black mesh, creating a bold, barely-there illusion. It was intricately decorated with beautiful floral patterns made from gold, silver, and black beads, giving the historic couture piece an elegant sparkle without overwhelming the design. Her hair was styled into a polished half-up hairstyle that beautifully showcased the statement earrings and complemented the vintage silhouette. Personally, while I admire the rarity and incredible history behind this Balenciaga haute couture piece, I just don't think it felt quite right for this particular occasion. The sheer illusion and edgy styling made it feel more like a museum-worthy fashion moment than a wedding guest look, which is why it earns a place on my worst-dressed list. Brittany Mahomes. Brittany Mahomes definitely embraced the night's glamorous dress code, but if I'm being completely honest, this look just didn't come together for me the way I expected. Every individual piece was luxurious, yet together it felt a little too overwhelming. She wore a shimmering Marmar Halim gown in a beautiful iridescent light blue shade. The figure-hugging bodycon design featured delicate horizontal micro-pleats, ruched satin detailing, thin spaghetti straps, and a plunging bustier-style bodice that gave the dress a sleek, sculpted silhouette. The accessories were undoubtedly the biggest talking point. Around her neck sat an extraordinary Takori mosaic-style diamond choker crafted from multi-cut lab-grown diamonds. She paired it with matching diamond drop earrings, making the jewelry alone impossible to ignore. She completed the look with simple, nude, strappy sandal heels that kept the attention on the dress and jewelry. Her beauty styling followed the same frosty color palette. She wore shimmering white eyeshadow that echoed the icy finish of the gown, paired with a dark mauve lipstick for contrast. Her platinum blonde hair was styled in an elegant half-up, half-down hairstyle with soft curls and delicate face-framing tendrils, giving the overall look a polished finish. Personally, I think the gown had potential, but the combination of the shimmering fabric, the oversized statement necklace, and the icy makeup made the overall styling feel a bit too busy for my taste. That's why this look lands on my worst dressed list. Dakota Johnson. And finally, my number one pick. Now, I know some of you might be surprised because I actually included Dakota Johnson in my best dressed list at first, but after reading so many of your comments and looking at the outfit again, I honestly changed my mind. First of all, she wore black to the wedding, which many of you pointed out still doesn't feel appropriate for such a joyful celebration. And the more I looked at it, the more it gave me vacation or resort vibes, rather than an elegant black tie wedding guest look. So yes, this one had to take my number one spot on the worst dressed list. Dakota chose a sleek black halter-neck dress from Valentino's pre-fall 2026 collection, designed by Alessandro Michele. Staying true to the quiet luxury trend, the outfit relied on clean lines and understated styling rather than bold embellishments. The dress featured a sophisticated halter neckline, finished with a long flowing scarf that tied gracefully at the back. A lightweight, billowing semi-sheer bodice was layered over an opaque strapless base, creating a soft contrast between transparency and structure. The midi-length skirt was completed with a dramatic thigh-high slit that added a modern edge to the minimalist silhouette. Her hair was left down in her signature effortless style, featuring a soft, bouncy blowout with curtain bangs, while her makeup remained fresh and natural, with a subtle lip stain providing the only hint of color against the all-black ensemble. Personally, I still think every individual piece is beautiful, but as an overall wedding guest look, it just didn't convince me. Between the all-black color palette and the relaxed, vacation-like feel, it simply didn't match the glamorous wedding atmosphere as well as I expected. That's exactly why Dakota Johnson takes my number one spot on this worst-dressed list. And that's my ranking of the top 10 worst-dressed guests at Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding. Fashion is completely subjective, so this list is based purely on my personal opinion. Some of these looks were loved by thousands of people, while others sparked a lot of debate online, and that's exactly what makes celebrity fashion so interesting. Now I want to hear from you. Which outfit do you think deserved the number one spot? Did you agree with my ranking, or would you have changed it completely? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.
Subscribe to my channel and also press this bell icon.